Mirror Now's explosive expose blows the cover. Proof of Maharashtra government's inability to provide security to doctors caught on camera. Fadnavis's government's promises to safeguard doctors were mere eyewash. Another doctor allegedly attacked in Maharashtra, this time in Thane. 15 people beat up a doctor and vandalized the civil hospital. Murder caught on camera in Churu district in Rajasthan. A biker hits an auto rickshaw driver with a brick on his head, killing him instantly. The viral fever boss Arunab Kumar may walk away scot-free without a trial. Mumbai police says with no victim coming forward, the case has reached a dead end. Budget 2017 for the richest civic body, the BMC, is out this year. Roads get lesser allocation. However, serious money has been set aside to fund schools, hospitals and solid waste management. And Karnataka's netas want protection from sensationalist media. Legislators cutting across party lines unite, set up a committee to formulate rules to regulate print and electronic media. Hello and welcome. You are watching The Big Story here on Mirror Now. I'm Krishna Kumar. Before we get to the big story, first up we have some news that is coming in as we speak. The Mumbai police has issued an advisory that an aerial attack by gliders or drones, etc. is possible on the city. Therefore, the ban on the use of any flying objects will be in place from the 31st of March to the 29th of April. That's a month-long ban. That's the latest news that's coming in. The Mumbai police has issued an advisory that an aerial attack by gliders, drones, etc. is possible on the city. Therefore, they've put a ban on the use of any flying objects, and the ban will be in place from the 31st of March to the 29th of April. That is the big breaking story right here on Mirror Now News that's coming in as we speak. We will be getting you more details on that front as we go forward. Time now for the top story then. Mumbai civic body, the BMC, announced its budget for the year 2017-18. The country's richest civic body trimmed down the total size of the budget, bringing it to about 25,000 crore rupees, which is significantly lesser compared to last year's budget, which was around 37,000 crore rupees. In this year's budget, infrastructure gets the lion's share. The BMC has allocated over 8,000 crore rupees for capital expenditure, that is spending on development projects for the betterment of the city infrastructure like roads, stormwater drains and water projects. The budget allocation for the scam-hit roads department this year is just about 1,000 crore rupees, which is lesser as compared to last year, where it was around nearly 3,000 crore rupees. Additionally, big allocation has been made for schools, hospitals and garbage management. So that's the highlights as far as the BMC budget 2017 is concerned. And to take it forward, we will take a look at my colleague Disha Shah, who gets us all the details in this report.
Yes, absolutely. The richest civic body, BMC, presented its budget today. And of course, an important thing to note here in this particular budget was that the civic body has significantly cut it down from 37,000 to 25,000 crore rupees for the financial year 2017 and 18. In fact, an important and for the very first time, the BMC has integrated the development plan in this budget. It has set aside separate funds for the development plan, that is 2,000 crore rupees. And when we talk about roads, of course, in the light of the road scams this year, the Commissioner Ajoy Mehta has set aside, it has also reduced the road department's budget. They have cut it down significantly than half, from 2,800 crore rupees to just 1,000 crore rupees. And the Commissioner terms it as a realistic budget because of unutilization of funds. So this is what he says when we asked him about the trimming of the funds for the budget. And of course, out of 938 roads in the city, 107 roads in the budget, it is mentioned that it will be complete. The road repair work will be complete by 15th of April. And for the remaining number of roads, the work issue will be, the work orders will be issued by May this year. So before monsoon, at least the BMC claims that people won't have to face much pothole-riddled rides like how it was last year. And lastly, of course, when we talk about solid waste management, Kanjurmarg dumping ground has been a lot of talking point, and citizens have given a lot of flack, and the dump still continues to be open. So now the Kanjurmarg dumping ground has the capacity of generating only 3,500 metric tons of garbage. But now the BMC in this budget, in this year, they have planned to increase the capacity by 1,000 metric tons more, and that particular will be operational very soon. So of course, all these were major highlights when we talk about the issues that Mirror Now had highlighted. So we will keep a very close eye on particularly all these developments. This is Isha Shah for Mirror Now.
And to take the big story forward, we're now being joined by Mr. Milind Maske, Project Director at Praja, and Gaurang Damani, founder, diehardindian.com, and a civic activist. Thank you both of you gentlemen for taking time out to be with us over here. Milind, I'm going to start with you. Your initial thoughts on BMC's latest budget?
Well, I think the budget, bringing down the budget was a good step. It's a realistic budget. Allocation for development funds is a very good step again. Because what has happened is, like in the past, we have had no allocation directly mentioned for the development fund in the budget. So there was no. It clearly showed that there was lack of seriousness about implementing the development plans, and what we're seeing is like about 33% of the development plans of the last 20 years were actually implemented. Hopefully now it will get implemented in a more realistic manner. However, I'm not very happy about one thing which we, as an organization, we have been demanding is more focus on outcome budgeting or performance budgeting. That's still not coming up. The government really needs to come up with a document before they present the budget to show what they have achieved in a qualitative manner. Like, so if they say that they are going to bring down malaria cases, they need to show how many malaria cases they have got down and the money allocated towards it. That will give us a more realistic picture about what the budget has achieved in the long-term period, and those should be the debates that should be followed.
All right, Gaurang, I'm going to come to you on that note. Talk to us. So what is your take? The overall budget size has shrunk in itself, isn't it?
I agree with Milinji. I think there should be something in the budget which should link it to the quality and parameters, like, especially the road issue. Like, are they saying that the same blacklisted tainted contractors are going to get the contract, or they are going to approach big, solid, good companies like L&T or someone else? So that quality issue still remains, and lack of transparency in the budget still remains. That being said, the development fund which is being allocated is a good step, and hopefully it will be well implemented.
Lack of transparency. Milind Maske, would you, what are your thoughts on that front about the lack of transparency per se of the BMC budget?
Well, if you pick up the basic document, the budget document, it's made in a very technical manner. You can't really read it. If I had to talk of transparency, I would say that that entire document has to be made in a user-friendly manner. BMC used to come up with a very good document a few years back. They stopped it in 2005. It was called as City Financial Overview, which gave a better picture of how the city is really doing financially. They're not really started a subsequent document towards it. If they bring in a similar document which talks of a financial overview with qualitative indicators, with performance indicators, that will really bring in transparency, because you will then know what has happened to your money and where it's been used, what are the impacts you are going to get out of it.
And Gaurang, if I were to ask you, what is your major grouse as far as the BMC budget 2017 is concerned? Is it the lack of transparency? Is it the lesser allocation for roads? What do you think is the one big problem with this particular budget?
See, the main issues that faces a middle-class citizen of the city is roads and water primarily, because traffic is also linked to the roads, and we commute every day on the roads, we spend a lot of time on the roads. So I think the major issue also during the election that happened last month was the road. So there is still no clarity. If they are reducing the budget allocation from about 3,000 crores to about 1,500 crores, then what is the reason for the reduction? And how are they going to address the pothole issue which keeps coming up? And as I said, at the risk of repeating myself, why are they still persisting with blacklisted contractors? So these issues remain, and the water issue remains. The long-term water issue is, we have old lines, they get merged with the sewage lines, and it's a major health issue which keeps coming up. So have they specifically looked at such common issues which plague the middle class citizen, is my question.
What has happened to the middle class citizen? Gentlemen, hold on, because we're now being joined on the phone line by Shiv Sena leader Manisha Kayande. Manisha ji, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the big story on Mirror Now. आपका क्या राय है ये BMC budget के ऊपर 1,000 crore rupees for roads, and as far as overall budget size in itself is concerned, it's shrunk, and still questions remain on, are we still dealing with the blacklisted contractors for roads?
Well, the blacklisted contractors issue is different. Now, if you see that the roads day by day, I don't say that there is a drastic change, but over the years, they are improving. I mean, you can't say that they are going from bad to worse, but there is definitely an improvement, though it's not at a very fast pace. But still, all the roads are not constructed by BMC, as you know. Some are constructed by the MMRDA, and which comes under the government. But the maintenance of all the roads falls under the purview of the BMC. So I think that, of course, even the government should come out and help the maintenance of the roads apart from the BMC. Secondly, priority has been given to the school children, to the impaired, to the handicapped, differently abled people, and more for medical assistance, because that is also equally important for maintaining the health of the citizens and low-cost maintenance of the health, because that the general public is directly affected, because there are rise in cases of malaria, dengue, and such things, So that also needs attention. Plus, of course, what the election promises that Honorable Uddhav ji has made on behalf of the Shiv Sena is about uniformed children. The children in the uniform, they will be given a free bus ride to the school. So I think there are many issues that will come in future. Even the number of toilet blocks for ladies that is also increased. So I think that one should look at it positively.
All right, Manisha Kayande of the Shiv Sena. Thank you so much, Manisha, for taking time out to be this year on the big story and talking to us about the BMC budget. Milind Maske, we just heard out a representative of the Shiv Sena, which is running BMC in Mumbai. I want your reaction to it.
I think some of the priorities that they have are sort of misplaced. When you're talking of roads, and I would link it to traffic congestions which are happening, the density of cars on the roads. We're actually encouraging people to have private cars and building roads for private cars rather than to facilitate mobility. The budget is talking of allocation for the coastal road. Rather than that, I would think why is the budget not really talking of mass transportation? Why are they not talking about actually using the 1,000 crores which they are now allocating for the coastal road for actually upgrading the base services? Why don't we have more air conditioned buses? Why don't we have BRTS lanes? Those are the debates that the corporation should be actually having. The ruling party should actually be bringing that focus into the budget, because that will actually improve the quality of life of citizens. Ultimately, that's where we are going to see the money actually making things matter for the citizens.
All right, Gaurang, you were also talking to me about part of this budget, and that's about the allocation for primary schools. But the entire attendance in primary schools has gone down in Mumbai over the years, hasn't it?
If my memory serves me right, there were about 6 lakh odd children in municipal schools in the city of Mumbai about, say, 10-12 years back. And I think now it has dropped to about 3.5 lakh children. So there is a huge drop, and there should be some systematic changes which take place, not just a budget for the sake of presenting a budget. The actual causes into why the attendance is dropping should be looked into, and that should be addressed so the kids remain in school.
Kids need to remain in school, and obviously just a budget announcement will not do. Milind, I wanted to ask you this. I've been through all the details of this budget. I see nothing in it to promote the green cover in Mumbai. Again, one of the all-important poll planks, poll promises before the BMC elections. and nothing in the BMC budget as far as the increasing or protecting the green cover in Mumbai is concerned.
Well, like I was just saying a while back that the priorities are actually misplaced. I mean, green cover is something which should be actually really looked into. Look at the weather right now. I mean, we are not even in May, and it's sweating. I mean, it's very bad weather that we are getting. A lot of these can be actually addressed if we look at strengthening the basic infrastructure that we have. I just take a moment to go back to the education question that you have asked, Gaurang, and what they started doing was to address the dropout rates. They started investing in MPS, the Mumbai Public Schools, or started bringing in semi-English schools. In fact, those are not actually solving the problem. People are still dropping out. We have data that shows that the dropouts in the semi-English schools, the MPS schools, is equal to vernacular medium schools, and the problem actually lies in quality of education. The problem lies in bringing accountability into the system. Because when we look at the data of school inspector, we see that the BMC raises their teachers to be very highly qualified and delivering the services. But when it comes to comparing the students' quality with private school students, we find that there's a vast difference over there. Those are the issues that they should be actually looking at, and they're not looking at those issues.
Lot of issues that need to be looked at, but not being looked at. Gaurang, how much do you agree with Milind Muskie? Milind Muskie is making a very clear point. They've got their priorities wrong. If not anything, the BMC budget seems to indicate the fact that they've got their priorities wrong. Would you agree with that, Gaurang?
Yeah, I agree with it. Also, it's partly the system which is to be blamed for it, because there are too many competing agencies. For example, MMRDA, MSRDC, and BMC, they take care of the roads, and then you have MMRD which has like the plan for the coastal road and things like that, and the metro. So there is little coordination between the different agencies. Like if you need to have a foot-over bridge across the railway line, then there are so many agencies involved. The budget is passed by some agency and the work is done by another. So there should be like a uniform agency, which will take care of the issue.
Gaurang, just hold on to your thoughts, because you're now being joined in the phone line by Mr. Charan Singh Sapra of the Congress. Mr. Charan Singh Sapra, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on The Big Story on Mirror Now. I want to understand your take on this latest budget from the BMC.
See, I feel the kind of budget which the BMC has presented today, this effectively shows that ruling party is still here.
All right, we seem to be on a bit of a bad line with Mr. Charan Singh Sapra. We'll come back to connecting it. Gaurang, you were just finishing up a point. Sorry, I interrupted you. Please go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I think now the opportunity is really right, because the center, the state and BMC are all run by the same alliance, BJP and Shiv Sena. So they should take this opportunity and form like a unified implementing agency, or a uniform or a central coordinating agency between different government departments. I think that will bring about a lot of efficiency in the system, and issues like public transportation can be addressed better, because you have railways running the biggest suburban network in the city, in the country, and it is not very well linked with the BMC in terms of the area outside the station access and things like that.
Also, Milind, I wanted to come to you on this as well. Gaurang was talking to us about railways, but what about the BEST buses? I mean, that comes under the BMC. They have not been paid salaries. There is no clear plan to revive BEST buses or to make it better. That is a crucial link as far as urban transportation in the city of Mumbai is concerned, isn't it?
Absolutely. In fact, the BEST buses is the second most used mode of transportation in the city. And the point which Judge Gaurav made about the mobility between railway transport to a BEST transport is actually missing. If you go to Thane, for example, just outside the station, they have created a SATIS system, and it's fantastically working. So we have examples which are just in the neighborhood which can be implemented. Like, why can't we have a similar implementation at Andheri or Dadar or Kurla, the major stations where it's absolutely a mess when you get outside the station, and that's something which the civic authorities can do. It's properly in their domain. Apart from that, we really need to invest into bringing a lot more buses. Instead of closing routes, we should actually be increasing the number of buses, bringing more comfortable buses, bringing more maybe air-conditioned buses, actually discouraging people from taking out private transportation. This all will actually help a lot in when it comes to increasing the mobility of citizens in the city. We should actually have a plan that a public transport point should not be more than 5 minutes of walking distance from any location in the city. I mean, these are the visions that a city like Hong Kong or Singapore has. Why can't Mumbai actually incorporate those visions?
Why can't Mumbai have these visions as well? That's the point that Milind Maske is making. Milind, thank you so much for making that point over here. And thank you, Gaurang, as well. But for that, it's time for a quick break over here. On the other side, a mega Mirror Now investigative expose. You don't want to miss that one. Keep it with Mirror Now. You're watching Mirror Now, and another doctor has been attacked in Maharashtra's Thane district. From the reports we are getting from the ground, we hear around 15 people assaulted a doctor at the civil hospital in Thane. The angry people also broke the glass of the main entrance. The latest news coming in is that the main accused has been detained by the Thane police. That is the latest. Meanwhile, nothing's changed in public hospitals across Mumbai. Mirror Now's reporter Richa Sharma entered 4 public hospitals and walked into wards without anyone stopping or questioning her. This a day after the state promised enhanced security and limited entry to outsiders in hospitals. Take a look at this.
ID हाँ है.
हेलो सर.
अरे तुम्ही पेशंट आहेत तर काय?
आप पेशंट के हिसाब से डॉक्टर को ले जाते हैं.
कुठून आला होता ना?
हाँ.
But that was all. The scenario within the hospital was not very different. Entire families still accompanied patients to the OPD and crowded general wards. Outside the emergency ward, I noticed there are no guards at the entrance. I spoke to some of the people standing outside the emergency ward.
आप लोग पेशेंट है क्या? नहीं. पेशेंट नहीं, देखने आए हैं. आपको मिला अंदर आने के लिए विदाउट पास?
नहीं, गुजर गया ना.
हाँ? नहीं, आपको अंदर आते वक्त पास मांगा था? नहीं.
गुजर गया है.
The situation outside the OPD or outpatient department was similar. People accompanying patients were allowed free entry. Since entry passes are not ready yet, patients were being asked to show their file to enter.
लोग अलाउ कर रहे हैं आपको अंदर बिना पास और ये सब?
वो तो पता नहीं.
आप ओपीडी के लिए आए हैं किसी और के लिए? बच्चे को खून चढ़ाते हैं, बच्चे हमारे पहले से में है ना, तो अलाउ किया दोनों. ऐसे कुछ कार्ड वार्ड मांगा था? नहीं. आईडी वाईडी पूछते हैं बोल?
आप पूछते हैं, बट अभी आईडी नहीं है तो फाइल्स वगैरह दिखाते तो
ऐसे कुछ लिमिट किया है कि 2 लोग भी जाएंगे या 4? ऐसा कुछ नहीं, सब जा रहे हैं.
My next stop is KEM Hospital, where I very comfortably entered the hospital gate despite the presence of a security official at the gate. I walked through the crowded, unguarded OPD and shockingly, easily accessed the general ward of the hospital where patients are admitted.
आपको यहाँ अंदर एंटर करते हुए आईडी वाईडी कुछ पूछा?
मैं भी अंदर गया नहीं.
नहीं, बाहर से अंदर कुछ नहीं पूछा. मैं पूछती कि आपको बाहर से अंदर आने के टाइम पे कुछ बाहर से आईडी कुछ पूछा था?
अंदर से बाहर आने के?
बाहर से अंदर आने नहीं, गेट पे कुछ नहीं मांगा. आप पेशेंट हैं? दिखाने आए हैं लेकिन मैडम
पहली बार आए हैं. मैं पेशेंट हूँ.
Sir JJ Hospital was my third destination, where security was present only at the main gate. There were no guards at the other entrances of the hospital, which meant getting in was easy. Again, security was present only at the emergency ward. The rest of the hospital was unguarded. The OPD again was crowded with patients and relatives, and there is no pass system or security.
गेट पे से कुछ पास सिस्टम वगैरह शुरू किया है
गेट से वो पास 9 नंबर गेट के जाते
बाकी जगह से नहीं
पेशेंट है
नहीं पूछ रही हूँ हाँ पेशेंट आने वाले थे इसलिए पूछ रही हूँ।
तो आने वाले रहेंगे ना तो तुम्हारा वो जो वार्ड में कोई रहेगा पेशेंट इंचार्ज लाल पट्टे वाली इंचार्ज रहती है देगी
पास देते हैं
पास देते
वैसे सब लोग आ रहे हैं ऐसे डायरेक्ट
आज क्यों मालूम है आज ज़्यादा थोड़ा सिक्योरिटी ज़्यादा बढ़ेगा तो ज़्यादा 2-4 दिन में डॉक्टर लोगों का ये स्ट्राइक था बीच में लॉकडाउन हुआ अभी पब्लिक भी ऐसे हो गए वो डॉक्टर को मारते थे ये लोग भी ऐसा ही है।
The last stop on my list was Nair Hospital. Again, security at the gates, but nobody stopped me. I easily entered the OPD, maternity and pediatric ward without any questions being asked.
And with that, it's a wrap here on this edition of The Big Story on Mirror Now. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.